Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. Um, this is LibGuides Basics. We are going to be going through some of the basic terminology and things that you see in LibGuides when you're trying to use and build a LibGuide. I am going to be jumping back and forth between my presentation and LibGuides, the LibGuides platform, so that you can see all of these things where they actually are, as well as see notes and kind of understand where things are going and where they're coming from. Darla is my lovely co-host today. She is going to be watching chat for me because I have a horrible time multitasking. So if you do have questions as we're going through, please feel free to throw them into chat and she will make sure I do not miss them. And then we are going to just keep working through this and hopefully this is beneficial. This is the first of our series of LibGuides events. We are going to be doing several other presentations throughout the month, and I highly encourage you to attend all of them because they all have something different going on, and they all kind of build on each other. So starting with LibGuide Basics today, and then Advanced next week, building your own LibGuide, and then LibGuide accessibility, which are all very important aspects of creating content in LibGuides. Our learning goals today, we're going to learn how to create and set up a new LibGuide. I am just going to be going over the basics for that because you're going to get a chance to actually do that in the Create a LibGuide session. So you'll be able to actually hands-on figure out how to do it. I'm just going to kind of show you where it is and where the notes are. We're going to learn about the different parts of a LibGuide, all that fancy terminology, what they call different things, so that when you're looking at tutorials and FAQs and things like that, you understand what they're talking about. And then we're going to be learning about adding and reusing content on LibGuides and a brief overview of making that content accessible, because that's something we always need to have in the back of our mind. Accessibility isn't just nice, it's required. So it's something we're going to continue and to touch upon all the way through all of these sessions. Okay, the first thing we want to talk about is creating LibGuides. When you first create a guide, you name it, you choose the layout, and you choose the type. We have a naming convention for LibGuides. Okay, and you can do all of this on the Create a LibGuide page. So if I come over, there is a button right here in your LibGuide shortcuts where you can create a guide. All of the information on what you need to make your guide fit our templates is right here on the side. So it's telling me first thing I need to do is my guide layout. So if I start here, I usually start fresh. You can copy from an existing guide if you want. Use a template. There are two templates that you'll use. It's Library Guides tab layout that has the navigation across the top. And then there is a Library Guide side nav layout, which has, of course, the navigation down the left-hand side. Okay, so you'll choose the one of those you want. You will put your guide name in. If this is a guide for your campus, you should follow the convention of the guide name dash campus name. That way we can identify which campus guides are associated with, and we don't have a gazillion guides that are just named English 111. We know that this is the Indianapolis version or this is the Fort Wayne version, and we can associate those to the corresponding people. The next is the guide type. Okay, and I am going to talk to you a little bit about the different types. We, of course, have, there is a link here to the Create a New Guide page that will go through the different types for you. You have course, which is a specific class, so English 111. Subject is more general, so it's English. Okay. General purpose is, I missed that one. That one is going to be general library information. So if you have a guide about citations, you would put it under general purpose. Topic is a specific topic, so not just English, but maybe focused on writing annotated bibliographies or something very focused. And then internal guides are probably not used as much, but those are frequently used as staff resources. So our statewide staff LibGuide is an internal guide. And that means you have to be logged in order to see it. Okay. And then you do have some other options down here. You can set a password for the guide if you'd like. The sharing is pretty important if you want to restrict sharing. Community sharing is nice, but that means you're sharing with the entire LibGuides community, not just our campus. Internal would be, I'm sorry, not just our system. Internal would be Ivy Tech libraries, and no sharing would mean that nobody can copy your content. And that's really restrictive because it means that you can't even copy your own content. And one of the really nice things about LibGuides is the reusability. There is, and I'm going to send this presentation out to everyone afterwards. So there is a summary here of what layout you want and how to choose your guide type. All right, then when you actually get into setting up a guide, and of course I threw one together real quick earlier, there's several things that you want to look at. The first thing is the friendly URL. The friendly URL means that you have a nice link to share out with people. So it's library.ivytech.edu/Fort Wayne instead of all of this gobbledygook. Okay? Friendly URLs are set at the guide level and at the page level. So if I come up here and set my guide URL, okay, and it does have some information here about what you can have. They usually recommend only using lowercase letters because uppercase letters in URLs can sometimes cause misdirects. Okay. Even if I set my guide URL, give it just a second, it has to refresh, you'll notice that my page URL down here still has all those numbers in it. You often also have to set your page URL, so I might set this to home, so that I have a friendly URL there too. Okay, and you can do that on every page. So the guide level is up here at the top. It says guide URL, and the page URL is here in the little toolbar where you edit it there, and you want to set both. Okay, the subjects, oh, I'm sorry, the format for friendly URLs. It is a good idea to include your campus, the guide, and then the page. Okay, so for example, for any Fort Wayne guides, I would put Fort Wayne in there first, and you can actually type that in. When I come here, I can say Fort Wayne /Liz, and then that is my URL. It'll put it up here. Okay, and there it is. The nice thing about that is we can have a statewide guide that is Noodle Tools, and then Fort Wayne can have a Fort Wayne version of Noodle Tools, and the URL will demonstrate both of those. So this would be Fort Wayne /Noodle Tools to kind of separate it out. Okay. The subjects and the tags are also set at the guide. Okay, you can see their subjects and tags. Okay. I forgot about group. You can set the group on your create a guide page. There's the group assignment. I apologize. Your group is really important because that puts your guide in the same group as all of your other campuses other guides. And the nice thing about that is that you can create a widget, and this is more advanced, but you can create a widget that will automatically update anytime you add a new guide to your group. And it always displays all of the public guides in your group. So you do want to choose the group that is associated with your campus. The other thing choosing the group does is apply the coding that is relevant to your campus as well. So it'll put the footer down at the bottom. It'll put the right header at the top. It'll put all the right colors and everything in as well. Okay. The subjects and tags are here as well. Subjects are predefined. Okay. And those are another thing that can be used to generate widgets. They group the guides together. so that if you wanted to show all of the English resources you have, all of the English guides you have, you can set it to English and have all of those pop up. I can show you an example on the Fort Wayne page. I can go to by subject, and you can see I have 4 different guides that are related to engineering and technology. And so they get sorted by the subject that they're related to, and that is all selected right here under subjects. Tags are more flexible. You can create any tags that you want, or you can select existing tags, and they are keywords to help people find your guide in the system. Subjects are used a lot more than tags, but they are both there and available to be used. The pieces that create your guide are pages and boxes. Okay, pages and subpages organize the content of your guide, so you can make as many pages as you want. However, you do kind of want to consider accessibility and navigation when you are creating pages. If you have a lot of pages, your toolbar at the top will end up having so many tabs across it, or even down the side, that it'll start a second line. It won't look as attractive on the public side, and it will be harder to access on mobile because you'll just have a huge list of tabs before you even get to the content of your page. So while you can add as many as you want, you do want to keep in mind that you probably shouldn't have too many. You also want to avoid having single page guides. Generally, if you have a guide that is a single page, it probably can be included as a page on another guide. So if you have a page that is just about noodle tools and you don't have any other pages on that guide, you might want to consider including it on a citation guide or on an English guide. Boxes, of course, organize the content on your pages. There are different types of boxes. There's standard, tabbed, gallery, and profile. And there is actually a new box coming sometime this month. They are working on creating it right now. That is going to be an accordion box, which will be really nice once they get that fixed or added. They just started working on it. When you add a new box, you can choose the box type right here. You can only set this when you are creating the box. There have been a number of times where I've gone through and created a box and then had to delete it because I actually meant to choose tabbed or gallery. This is the only spot where you can do it. A standard box just has all your content in one box. Tabbed, of course, has extra tabs across the top so you can change between tabs and you can label all of them. That is another spot where you can have as many as you want, but you want to exercise caution. Make sure you don't have too many. Gallery creates a nice slideshow. If I go back to the Fort Wayne page here for a second again, you can see we have a slideshow of images right here. Okay. And then the profile box creates this automatically generated box you see on the right side that has your picture and any profile information you've set in LibGuides. Okay. And again, like I said, you can only change the box type when you create it. Once you've created a box, you can edit it slightly. You can change the box name. You can make it a floating box, which means it won't have the header at the top. And you can also turn the box to draft mode, which means you can still see it on the back end, but people can't see it on the front end. One way we use that quite a bit is for alerts at the top of the website, because you can put the alert up there and have it there briefly and then take it away when you don't need it anymore. Oops. Okay. They do display the title by default to separate your content. It's nice because you get the line and the header of each box. The other nice thing that the headers do is an accessibility feature. they make it a lot easier for screen readers to navigate your page. And so we do encourage keeping the titles of each box on there, but you can set them to floating to hide that title if you need to. Content is added to guides by using assets. Okay. Everything you can add to a box is called an asset. And these are all the options that you see when you click down at the bottom of your box where it says add reorder. You get all of these different options. We're going to talk about a few of these specifically, but there are a lot of others that we don't have time to look at today. They all have different features on them. For example, the guides list, you can choose a type based on the subject or the group. And I can say, I want to post all of the Fort Wayne guides. And if I save it, there's all my Fort Wayne library guides in there. And it automatically generates and updates. But there's different tools that you can use in there. Okay. The rich text HTML asset is the most used. Okay, it's the most versatile. It can hold just about any type of content. But for certain types of content, there are other assets that have benefits that will make them work better than the rich text HTML. Okay. So, for example, there's the link asset. Okay. The link asset lets you build a sortable list of links to other resources, which means when you create a link asset, you give the title of the link. Let me actually go in and do that here. You give the link name and the URL and a description. You can choose to let the description display or not. If you want to hide it but make it visible when people interact, we usually recommend the clickable info icon because it is more accessible on mobile than hovering over the title. Okay, and then you can position it. The nice thing about the links is when you have multiple links in a list, there's actually a button down at the bottom that lets you sort them alphabetically, so you can reorder them pretty easily. And you can also use the reorder content to move them around as well. The database assets are a special type of link asset that have been pre-made by the systems team and linked out to all of our databases. Oh, one other thing about links, guys, they're reusable and they can be monitored by Link Checker. And I'll show you Link Checker in a little bit. Link Checker is really nice because it does let you actually see what links are having issues. Okay. Database assets, and that is another option when you go down here to adding. Okay. You search for the database. So for example, academic search, and I can just start typing it in and it'll pop up and you'll click and add it. It does look a little funny on the edit page. It's a lot cleaner on the public view. Okay. The nice thing about a database asset is it's completely maintained by the systems team. You don't have to worry about updates to this at all. As long as this database asset is on your page, any change we make to the database will automatically update. If there's a URL change or anything like that, it'll get fixed. And we can also hide all of the database assets if something is unavailable, and we can delete the main asset and all of the mapped versions of it will disappear as well. That means that when you create a list of databases, you don't need to maintain it. We handle it for you. The next asset I want to talk about is a media or widget asset. Okay, that is, I guess, another option down here in the menu. There it is, media widget. For a media widget asset, you put in the name and then you put in the code. These do use coding, so you do need to have a rough idea of how to code something in order to use them, but you can also copy and paste code into them. That means that if you have a widget created on a website, you can copy and paste the code in and display it on your page. You can also do that in a rich text HTML box, but it's a lot better to do it in a widget asset because if something breaks, we can actually access these from our assets list, which I will show you in a bit. We can access these and edit them without going onto your page. That means that if you put code into this widget and it breaks your entire page, which does happen, we can fix it. If you put it into a rich text HTML asset, then we have to reach out to SpringShare and have them fix it for us. So it's a lot easier to manage and fix things if you use the media widget asset. The other nice thing about these is you can reuse widgets. So just as an example, if I say discover search, okay, and I want to put the statewide search on my page, oops, I've got it on my page. There's the Discover search. It's the exact same search that's on all of our home pages, but now it's on my library guide. And it's there and I can use it. Okay. And the thing you'll notice is if I go in and edit it, I can't actually change the code. That's because this box is mapped to the original one. And so that if the systems team needs to fix a link or code or something on the widget, it will automatically update yours as well. Okay. On the staff guide, I will show you real quick. We have an entire page of search widgets that you can reuse, and it tells you exactly what to put in that box to reuse them. So up here are the search widgets, and then down here there are a bunch of EBSCO search widgets. And you can reuse any of these the same way I just did this one. And of course you can remove it if you need to. Okay. The next widget is a book from the catalog widget. These are pretty basic. They're very, very similar to a link asset, but it gives you some more options. When you do a book from the catalog, you can plug the ISBN in, and for most books, it will find all the info and a cover art for you. But you can add your own cover art, and you can also add title and author information. You will need to add the call number and URL yourself, even if you auto-populate it. Usually the URL is a link back to our catalog. And then same thing, description and display. Okay. And just like links and widgets, you can reuse books. So you can use the same book in multiple places by searching for a book from the catalog, link and use the one that you've used before. The last specific one that I want to talk to you about are the document or file assets. And of course, what it sounds like, it lets you upload a file that you can share. They can also be reused, just like all of the other assets we've talked about. And when you upload a new version of the file in the original asset, all of the mapped copies will update as well. Okay. And that is one thing I did not show you. When you reuse content, oh, let me do it with a widget. That's the one catch with reusing is you need to know what to search for. There is this option here to copy. If you copy instead of map, that means that it will no longer be connected to the original and will not get updates. So for most cases, you do not want to check copy unless you want to make your own changes to the widget. or whichever item you are copying, reusing. Okay, and there's all sorts of other types. The RSS feed is kind of nice because you can take news feeds from different websites. There's a list of guides, a poll. The LibAnswers and LibWizard widgets are really nice as well. And they all kind of walk you through, just like these other ones do. They give you the fields to fill in and you put in your information. One of the big things that's great about LibGuides is that you can reuse content. You don't have to start from scratch every time. You can copy an entire guide. You can reuse pages, boxes, and most assets. All of the specific assets we talked about today, except for the rich text HTML, can be reused. Though technically you can reuse the rich text by reusing an entire box. Okay? So if I want to add a page, I can come here and say reuse an existing page, and it's going to give me options. So maybe I want to say Fort Wayne, and I'm going to reuse the Tough Topics page. Oh, here, let's do the early readers page from my education guide. I can either do it as a top level page, which means it's going to be a tab, or a subpage, which means it'll be under the tab. And then just like before with the assets, you can copy or map. Okay. Copying means that you can make changes to it. Mapped means that if the original updates, yours will update too. I'm going to leave this one mapped and hit save. And you can see it has brought all of that content over for me from the early readers page on that other guide. Okay, I added it as a subpage of my home page, so it's right here. And I can go back to my home. And all of that content is there. Reusability means that everything's there, and keeping it mapped means that it will stay updated. Okay, you can reuse boxes as well. Same thing, reuse a box. You choose the guide. So maybe I want to use it off of my sandbox here. And I'm going to reuse the content box. I'm going to name it content box copy. And there's an alert here. It's telling me it's going to be a mapped box unless down here I click copy. Just like before, copying means changes. Mapped means that it will update when the original updates. And you can choose the position and hit save. And you can see I have an exact copy of this one. And any changes I make up here, I refresh, those changes will also show up down here. Okay. And then, like I said before, you can reuse content. Same thing, when you go into add an order, you can choose the reuse tab anytime to reuse something from another guide. Okay, now we need to talk a little bit about accessibility because we are required as a public institution to follow the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. These guidelines are what are needed for people with accessibility issues to be able to use our website, just like someone who doesn't have an accessibility problem. This means that our website needs to have mobile visibility. It needs to be able to be used on a mobile device just as well as on a computer. In the past year, roughly a third of our website accesses have been from mobile devices. And if you have too much information, too long of information, that can be really hard to access on a mobile device. So that's something to keep in mind for accessibility. Some features are built in, like headings and mobile layouts. Now, the mobile layout only does so much. because, like I said, if you have too much content, it will still be very long, even if the layout itself is accessible on mobile devices. But you're responsible for other parts of accessibility, like alt text. This is text that you add to your images so that people with screen readers know what the image is. Colors are really important because someone with color blindness could have trouble reading your page if the colors aren't clear enough. Low vision is another reason why color is very important. Fonts and other essential features. So fonts, you shouldn't use lots of fancy fonts on your page because it can be hard to read. We selected Poplio when we did the latest website renovation at the end of the spring semester. And that one was selected because it was a fairly wide font and a fairly clean font, which usually, not always, usually means it's a little bit more readable for people. Now, everybody with various have various readability um, capability so that they can. Apologies, I'm getting all stumbled up. Different fonts work for different people, basically. And so we picked a font that should be accessible for a lot of people. Of course, that's not a guarantee, but we try to make it as accessible as possible when it comes to fonts. When you use lots of fancy fonts like scripts and things like that, it gets much harder to read for various people, especially on screens. The other thing with screens is fonts with serifs, the little lines at the tops and bottoms tend to get a little bit harder to read on a computer screen. And so you do like to have the fonts that are a little bit cleaner, like this one, where it doesn't have all the extra lines. Sarah, do you have something?
So I actually worked recently with my marketing person. She showed me a course that she had built inside Canva. And one of the things that it really hit on was the fact that even though our brand kit has multiple colors, like the greens and then the other secondary colors, they were very clear that their secondary colors don't always meet when done a certain way for accessibility purposes. It's the color blind issue, right? Gray on gray. And
Yeah,
so if you have questions about that, that is also something that you can also check with your marketing team to see what kind of, they've discovered because those secondary colors are helpful, the blue and the yellow and the pink, but they are not necessarily built to be perfectly accessible. And so we just need
yeah.
to be careful as we start utilizing colors that they are approved by Ivy Tech, but there are still brand marketing um, some requirements. So if there's questions, that would be a marketing question.
Yeah. There are also there's a very important thing with the Ivy Tech colors. Those, even the main colors, are not completely accessible. For example, if you try to use the bright green on top of the dark green, there is not enough contrast there for low vision users. So you also have to keep that in mind. There are all sorts of tools that you can use to check accessibility, but a lot of this is going to be covered more in the accessibility session, which is the fourth session in the series. We very, very much encourage you to sign up for that session so you can get an idea of what your responsibility is when it comes to accessibility. Um, like I said, it's required. We have to meet these standards. And the reason the standards are there is so that everyone can use our website. We want to meet these standards, but we also have to. Okay. I do have a couple of resources. Again, I'm going to send this presentation out so you'll be able to click these resources, but I'm going to show you real quick where to find them because there's a lot of great things here that you can use. First off, our guide to guides. If I am on the staff website, and again, guys, our staff website is just library.ivytech.edu/staff. So you can get to it really easily. There is a link for our guide to guides down here. This resource will have information about creating your guides. There's information about accessibility. There's some information about built-in features in CSS, HTML, CSS, which is what we will get into in our advanced session. Okay. And there's information about website consistency. These were the standards that were agreed upon a couple of months ago. And so these are all things that you need to meet on your library homepage. Library guides are more flexible, but this is what you need for your website. The guide to guides also has that complete create a new guide process that we just went through, along with all of the URL information and choosing your guide type and all of that. It's here. Okay. The next resource are our FAQs. If you go to the staff page, there's FAQs, tips, and troubleshooting, and there is a whole section of FAQs on LibGuides. Okay. Some of the big ones that we touched on today, LibGuides assets and which ones you should use. There's a page explaining that. Database assets, which are a specific type of asset. Setting up your new guide so it displays correctly is here as well. And information about your footer or if your web page breaks and what you need to do for that. That's all here. So we've worked on building these to help you use LibGuides. The next thing, these are all SpringShare resources, and I'm going to come back out to the main LibGuides platform. You can click on Help up here at the top. Okay. And it does let you search the LibGuides FAQs, but you can also come in and click on one of the links. If you go to the documentation, they also have a huge list of resources. So just we've been talking a lot about assets today. If I hit search, all of the different things, deleting assets, editing assets, managing them, add a guide list to a guide, all sorts of different things you can do with assets are here. So the Help Center, the SpringShare Help Center is very helpful. They also have, if you go back out to SpringShare resources, they have Spring EU. Spring EU is their tutorial system where they teach you all sorts of different things from creating a guide to more technical, here's what you can do in your guides. And they have live and recorded sessions. I do highly recommend checking out the recorded sessions because they go a lot more in depth into things that we don't have time here to make a bunch of tutorials for, but they're already created. So it's a great place to go. The other tools I want to show you in LibGuides are things that help you manage your content. There's a couple of things. First off, you'll see the content menu up here and the tools menu. Now, when I go into these, you're going to see a whole lot more than what you'll see when you go into them yourself because I'm an admin user. So if I go to content and go to guides, you'll notice I see absolutely all of the guides. You will see your guides, okay? And I can filter the list and see my guides. The nice thing about this list is it tells me when it was created, when it was last updated, what the status is of this guide, okay? Published means it's publicly viewable. Private means it's viewable, but somebody has to have the link. And then, of course, unpublished means that you can't see it at all. It will also tell me if I've set a friendly URL for that page, and it'll let me click to go and edit that page. Do be careful because there's a delete button over here. Okay, if you delete your guide, it is gone. There is no restoration. So make sure you absolutely want to delete something before you delete it. When it comes to guide maintenance, if you have a guide that you're not using anymore, what we usually recommend is unpublishing it first and leaving it for a little while. Because, and this happened to me a couple of years ago, you might unpublish it and immediately have someone email you and say, what happened to this guide? We were using it. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I need to not delete that guide and make it accessible again. But then if you go for a little while and nobody comments, you can probably go ahead and delete it. All right, and that's just real easy with the delete button here. When you try to delete something, it will tell you, see over here, it's telling me that this content's being used somewhere else. That means if I delete my page, it's going to mess up all these other pages. And so you want to check and make sure that you don't need to help someone else replace their content before you delete your guide. Okay. Also in the content section is the assets list. Okay, this is another thing where you are going to see every asset in the system on my screen, but when you go in, you will only see yours. And because I see everything, my list takes a while to populate. I'm sorry. The assets list lets you see what you've used, what you've created, and where you've used it. Okay, so you can see I have a bunch of links here. There's some documents, all sorts of various things through here. The nice thing that it does is I can come over here to where it says mappings and say, I want to see everything that has no mappings. These are all things that aren't being used anywhere. That means unless I want to go ahead and reuse it somewhere right now, I can probably delete them and clean it up. All right, I probably don't need this link anymore, so I can delete it. And there it's gone. Zero mappings means it's not used. The only exception is if it's a document, there is a chance that somebody could be linking directly to the document, but that's not usually going to be an issue. Okay. We do recommend coming in and cleaning up your assets when you're able to. It also gives you the ability, like if I want to see what books I have used, I can reuse a book, especially if I sort by name. I can see if I've accidentally used a book twice and made two different assets for it and various things like that. The other resource I want to show you is actually under tools. This is the link checker. When you go into the link checker, you are going to see a ton of stuff because this one actually does show you everything, but you are only going to be able to make changes to your resources. What the link checker does is it regularly scans our pages and any link asset, database, link, and book assets. It will go through and tell you if that link is still good or not. So if it's having trouble accessing something like this book and a hug page, I can click on it and, well, it looks like that page is still good. So I'm going to go through and add it to my exclusions. Okay, that one's good. I don't need to worry about that one. It's fine. Or I can delete delete it from my list, which means it'll continue checking it and continue checking it so it'll pop back up again if there's a problem with it. And you can do that for all of the links on your page. Okay, this one's okay. I can remove it from the list. It does have false positives, which you're seeing here is I'm clicking a couple of links and they're actually still working. And also, it has a horrible time with proxied links because they block the crawlers. So you don't want to just assume that because it's on this list, it's a bad link. You do actually want to go through and check them. But the other thing of it is if you do find one that's actually a bad link, you can click the button over here, see everywhere it's used, and actually go in and edit it. This one is reused in a bunch of places. The asterisk is telling me where the original use is, and that's the one I want to go to edit and fix it. Okay. So that's the link checker. The other resource that's up here that I think I forgot to put in my slideshow is the widgets page. This is where you can actually create widgets for your different resources. So just as an example, if I want the Fort Wayne guides, I can create a list that is just the Fort Wayne guides, and this list will update automatically anytime something is added to this group or removed from this group. And there's all sorts of widgets you can create up here across the top. All right. The other thing I want to tell you guys about are the upcoming sessions. If you haven't signed up for them already, you can do so with the QR code or by going to this link. It is linked on our staff website. The advanced LibGuide session, we will be talking about some code in that session, but don't let it scare you because a lot of these things are things that you can copy and paste and just make small changes, but you need to have a rough understanding of how it works in order to be able to make the changes you want to make. Okay? But this is how you can start adding some more fun things to your guides rather than just text and images and the basics. The Create a LibGuide session is a session where we will help you create a sandbox guide. That's a guide that you can have that you can just sit there and play with and experiment before you try something on one of your public guides. It's a great way to try some of those advanced techniques without messing up something you already have published. And so you'll be able to experiment with different techniques there. And then the Building Accessible LibGuide session was where we will go into the basics of accessibility and talk about what is required, what is recommended, and your responsibility to accessibility. Okay, that is what I had for our session today. I would love to open it up to see if anyone has any questions. Sarah, go ahead.
So it's not really a question. I just want to add when with the reusing and the mapping. So I just did this with one of Liz's guides. So this is something that I'm just going to say now as you start looking at things and considering creating guides and doing things, we are very open to people participating with other guides, like utilizing things they see on other guides. But a good rule of thumb is to always check with the staff at that location first to make sure that's okay. One. And two, you want to read through it, like actually read through everything, because there are some things on some local guides that are very specific to that local guide. So if you map that one, you are mapping all of their specific local information as well. So sometimes instead of mapping an entire guide or replicating an entire guide, going in and creating one for yourself and then, mapping certain boxes while also then having your own local boxes is also helpful. And a lot of that's just going to depend on how comfortable you feel doing things. I just want you to kind of keep that in mind as you're going through now that you know about the boxes and the widgets and all that versatility. There are a lot of different levels of borrowing, but also just trying to be respectful of someone else's work as well when you're borrowing to make sure that the credit goes where it's due. And if there are any questions, it can also, who to direct the question to as well, because you may not have created that particular bit of instruction. So it's good to have it on your end as well. So just something to keep in mind as we work towards creating your first guide, perhaps.
Now, database assets are completely reusable. You do not need to ask about those. They are designed to be reused. Okay. Any other questions or comments or anything? Okay. I hope this information has been helpful for you. I am, like I said, I'm going to send out these notes to everyone so you have them. I will also, once I have the recording, I will send that out as well so you have it. I will probably post the recordings on the staff guide once we have them all pulled together. We do encourage you, again, sign up for these other sessions if you haven't already. Please don't let the content scare you away from it. I know as soon as I start mentioning code, a lot of people get really nervous. There's actually a lot you can do with a rough understanding of code and being able to make changes to some of these things. So I do encourage you to sign up for all 3 of the upcoming sessions. All right. Thank
This
you
is
all for coming today.
I was just
Was there
going to add,
something?
Liz. I was just going to add, Liz. This is a very versatile product. This is something that, especially if you're a very beginner to everything, this is not something to be scared of. You can always layer and add. And Liz is very, very aware of how all this works. There's always somebody around who can answer basic questions. So please don't be scared. If your staff are interested in this, like this is a great place to allow people to sort of assist and use their specialties. So
Yeah. This is why Sarah is going to walk you through creating a sandbox guide, is so that you can try code and play with it and see how it works before you do it somewhere where you might mess something up. Because part of learning code is breaking things. I still break things, but it's a great way to add some new features to your page.
you start hitting that preview button going, that is not what I wanted. How did I do that?
I'm not seeing anything. All right. Thank you, everyone.